If you want to learn how to add an extra stream of revenue to your business, then this is the video for you. I'm going to be breaking down exactly how you set up and structure a Pinterest ad account, and I'll be showing you exactly the results I've seen from Pinterest, how you can best use it and maximize the results you get. It's a very, very good platform to get a bunch of cold traffic to your website, which then partners very nicely with other platforms like Meta and Google as well. They all work together and it's just another great asset to have in your business. My last video is about Microsoft/Bing ads, another great advertising platform. If you want to see how I generated over £250,000 on just a single ad account on Microsoft ads, definitely check out my previous video. And just before we go any further, if you want to work directly one-on-one with me, I help e-commerce businesses in all areas to grow and scale profitably. I'll leave a link to my Instagram in the description. Just drop me a message and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Okay, let's quickly jump in and check the results I've seen with Pinterest. I have 3 businesses, 2 of which use Pinterest. The 3rd business is fairly new, so this will be added in the future. I'll quickly start off by giving you a few key pointers about Pinterest, what to expect, what to look out for, and just sort of platform specific things that I think are very important. So this is data, if you see on the top left of your screen here, February 2023 to March of 2025. So about 2 years worth of data here. And the spend within this time frame is £28,000. We had 120,000 visitors from that spend, so we're looking at a CPC here of 14 pence, which is really good. A decent click-through rate, which obviously comes from decent quality ads. CPMs of £2.50, which again, if you run Meta ads, you'll know this is insanely cheap. I pay upwards of $70-80 per 1,000 impressions on some of my products on Meta, so to see a £2.50 for the same products is crazy. So anyway, moving on. Add to basket or add to carts, just under 10,000. 2,000 people completed a purchase. On Pinterest, they often call it total conversions in brackets checkout. They refer to checkout. That's essentially the word they use instead of purchase for some reason. So that's one thing to look out for when you're making your columns in your ad account. With a cost per acquisition of £13.65, again very good, with a total ROAS of 6.43. So according to Pinterest, 28,000 spend to generate £180,000 in revenue, which on the surface seems incredibly good, but I can assure you that is not the case. Pinterest over reports massively, but don't be disheartened or put off by that. It's still a very good advertising platform to use. Like I said, this is top of funnel. This is to get more and more traffic into your funnel, which again, these people will be automatically retargeted on Meta, Google, as long as you have those platforms set up correctly, and I've got videos about that on my channel as well. So if perhaps you set this up and you see a 10 ROAS within the first few days, but you don't see any more orders coming in, or you can't attribute that extra revenue to any sort of specific order, don't panic. It does happen, but like I said, you'll see the benefits of running Pinterest ads over time. And to be honest, I never really check the ROAS it's reporting. I use Triple Whale now, so that gives me a better idea. But like I said, it's all about getting more and more traffic that is still relevant but cheap into your funnel. Obviously, the first thing you're going to want to do is make a Pinterest ad account. Again, insanely easy, will take you a couple of minutes. You'll be greeted with a dashboard and it will give you these options up here in the menu. First thing you want to do, just like any other ad platform, you want to get your conversion tracking set up. There are 2 ways to do this. I manually installed the code in my Shopify theme. Now, because I've already got this set up, it's not going to give me the option to make another one, but if you go through the processes here, all you'll need to do is copy and paste a little line of code into your Shopify theme settings. It is incredibly easy, but if you're not comfortable with that, then you can either use the Shopify Pinterest shopping channel app thing on Shopify. I don't know if they call it an app or a sales channel. On Shopify here, if you click sales channel, you'll see Pinterest here. Alternatively, if you use the SimProcess app perhaps for your Google shopping feed, you can also head over to the tracking tag section and set up the Pinterest tag here. So I've just shown you 3 ways of doing it there. It will take a minute and yeah, it works very well, very easy to do, but make sure you have this set up, because otherwise, even though the data can be skewed, you still want to see the data it is giving you. So make sure that's done before you spend a penny on ads. Now, to view the sort of ads manager, kind of like Meta, you want to just go over to the ad reporting section here. It will bring you over to this page and you can see see I've only got 2 campaigns running. I don't want to commit too much budget to Pinterest. I get a very good amount of traffic for the low budget I currently spend. I have tried to scale it in the past to quite significant spend, and that did just end up eating into my bottom line margin. So fairly low spend, but again consistent. I don't really add or reduce spend, I just leave it to run in the background. So that is why I've only got 2 campaigns active for the 2 best products essentially in my business, and you can see they spend fairly similar amounts. You know, last 14 days here we're looking at about 140 and 180 pound each. So you're probably ready now to create a campaign, and I'm going to go through this step by step with you, because again, similar to my Microsoft video previously, there are a few little buttons and little settings you really want to make sure, you know, are either turned on or off perhaps. So let's jump into it. You want to click the bright red button here, click create, and then click create campaign. Now this does look incredibly complicated. I will agree with you there. It still does. It doesn't need to look this complicated, but obviously our goal here is conversions. Despite it being a cold traffic top of funnel campaign, we still do want to optimize towards conversions. But before we select the conversion setting, I do like to turn off the performance plus section. Similarly with meta ads and their advantage plus things, I just never really find it works very well. Each to their own. Again, I always advise to test these things for your own business, because each business will behave quite differently. So once you've turned that off, I click conversions. You know, simple campaign name it perhaps your product or product category. I personally wouldn't advertise tons of different products in a single campaign. With Pinterest, it probably is a good idea to have 1 campaign per product or product category. So use that structure as you will, but you can see I only run 2 products on Pinterest, and they are separated into their own unique campaigns. Once you've named it, you obviously want the campaign status to be active. Campaign daily budget, you simply again just want to get rid of the performance plus option really. Click a fixed daily spend, set this to what you want, and you know you'll know best what you're comfortable with. You can even go as low as $5 or $10 a day for Pinterest. Don't feel like you need to jump in here with $50 a day to begin with. Set it at 5, set it at 10, let it run for a month, and you'll soon get an idea of what sort of results it's bringing you, as well as the quality of traffic. So for the purpose of this, I'm just going to hit 10. You want the campaign to run continuously. You don't need to mess around with specific dates on a low budget, and then hit continue. Just like Meta or Facebook, you have then the ad group section. Now this is where the little bits are very important. So the first option here, targeting strategy, gives you 3 options here. I always like to select the middle option, which is find new customers. Perhaps if you've got a higher budget, you might want to consider a reconnect campaign, which is their equivalent of a retargeting campaign. But again, like I said, top of funnel, cold traffic, we want to find new customers, and then you hit that reset button. So once you've done that, you're now onto the targeting section. Again, a few little weird things here. It's just not the best UI, but you know, this video will help you get it right. I do like to keep things broad with Pinterest. I don't add any lookalike audiences, or Pinterest call them actor-like audiences. I leave that blank. Interest and keywords can be used. I actually do use interest targeting for my campaigns. So to enable interest, you click this little box here. It will give you a few categories that you can pick from. You can go into the subcategories. You can see if I click art, you can go, you know, you can keep going deeper and deeper basically to really sort of specific subcategories. So have a look, see which applies best for your business. You could perhaps try an ad group with a very broad one. So let's say you sell wedding accessories as a great example. You could have a campaign where you click wedding and that covers the entire category. And then you can make, sorry, not a different campaign. You can make another ad group, should I say. Perhaps if you then, if you're selling wedding cake accessories, you then might want to just test the subcategory, which obviously will be a smaller audience size, but it'll be more accurate and more specific to exactly what you're selling. So unlike Meta, I do use interest targeting on Pinterest. Now, once you've selected that, you want to go down to the demographic section, click this. Again, I usually leave these fairly broad, but again, if your product is, for example, women's clothing, then you probably will want to just make sure, you know, the female gender is selected. Again, these are all specific to your particular business. Ages, I leave broad. Specific locations, again, this ad account we're looking at here only runs to the USA. I will obviously click the, I think they just, what do they call it? Yeah, they call it the US, you know, why not just United States? But Anyway, make sure you get your country selected correctly. If you have got a fairly big business and perhaps want to advertise in more countries, I again would probably recommend having a campaign specific for each country. It just makes life a lot easier in terms of data analysis and things like that. Languages, again, only relevant if you're offering multiple languages. Perhaps if you, like I said, have a campaign in the US but make another one for Mexico or Spain or whatever, you then want to change the language to that relevant country. Devices, I leave that as all devices. Again, I don't change that. Now, placement and tracking is quite important. I guess it's something you could split test. Browse is essentially your ads will only appear on the Pinterest sort of feed, and you know, their equivalent of the For You page, if you like. Or you could go and appear just on the search page, which really does show higher intent, because similarly with Google, if you're only appearing on the Pinterest search results, then that particular person has a product in mind, an idea in mind, and just has higher intentions than someone perhaps just scrolling through their homepage feed. So because we're working with a minimal budget here, and because we do want to get the highest quality traffic, yes, it's very cheap, but we still want good quality traffic, I would actually recommend selecting just search here. Again, it's all based on intent, and you will be getting, in my experience, better quality traffic. But like I always suggest, split test these things. You might see different results for your own business. Now, the next section, optimization delivery, very straightforward. If you've done your conversion tracking correctly, this will be saved here and you can't change it. And in terms of the conversion event you want to be optimizing for, you do want to be optimizing for checkout, which is their equivalent of purchases. Now, when I started Pinterest ads several years ago now, probably in 2021 or 2022, with my UK business, if you had a brand new ad account and your conversion tracking thing had no data, you wouldn't actually be able to optimize for purchases or checkout straight away, and it'd only allow you to optimize for add to baskets. So don't panic if it doesn't give you this option. Optimize towards add to baskets. Sooner or later, after a few of these, it will allow you to change over to the checkout optimization setting. So don't panic if that option's not there for you. That is why. But if it is there for you, you want to select it. So again, just come back at a later date when it does give you that option. Bidding, this is the one Performance Plus feature I leave on. Otherwise, you're dealing with cost caps and cost controls and things like that. I've used these in the past, but again, we want to just keep that sort of steady flow of ad spend and traffic coming in each day. Okay, so that is essentially everything in terms of the campaign settings. The only other thing obviously is going to be the ads themselves, and this is actually probably one of the better bits about the layout of Pinterest. You can create your pins directly in the campaign creation settings here. Something I like to do is perhaps bulk make a bunch of different pins, upload them straight to my page, and then I can just select them by choosing this option here. So if you've done that method, then you just click select pins. I'm obviously going to blur this out, and you can just literally tick the pins you want to be showing ads for. But if you just want to create one or two just specific for this ad group, then you can click the middle button here and create the pin from scratch. Simple, you know, image or video, title, description, and then obviously the landing page link down the bottom here. So you're probably asking yourself, okay, what types of ads should I be running? What does a good Pinterest ad look like? I'm going to jump over now to the feed of Pinterest and show you a few very good examples and some inspiration for what your very first ads could be. As we already touched on it earlier on this video, we're going with the wedding theme here. So I've just searched in wedding decor in my search bar, and already you can see quite a variety in content it is giving me. If you want to simply see what an ad is, any post with the sponsored text here, that is an ad. So, you know, pretty self-explanatory. You can see some ads like this one from Etsy here just has an image of the product. Some ads like this one here have text along with an image inside of it as well. Again, this is a sponsored one, just a picture of the product. So you can see there is a lot of diversity here. Now, this is where similarly with Meta, you want to test perhaps an ad that is simply a picture of your product, perhaps an ad that sort of describes it a bit better with some text here. In terms of what I've seen work best, I personally see ads work really well on Pinterest when it shows 2 or 3 images of your product in one singular pin. So this would be a good example here in terms of the layout I am referring to. So my preferred layout for a Pinterest ad, I would have the main product image as the main piece up here. Then I'd have 2 or 3 smaller images of that product down here, perhaps different different colors, different angles of the product. Then I have some text somewhere in the middle with simply either an offer or the product name, and it is as simple as that. That is what has worked best for me. But again, it's not difficult to go away and test a few different varieties. This is actually a very good example of an ad from the range here in the UK. You've got a couple of products here being shown with a simple piece of text, and I assume if I click this link, it's going to take me to some sort of collection page showing a variety of wedding products, you know, exactly as I just guessed basically. So you don't have to link an example here directly to a product page. You can link to a collection page, because having a large ad like this, it does give you the ability to show multiple versions of, or multiple products that you offer in the same collection. So I hope that gives you some sort of inspiration of what ads you can use. In terms of video ads, yes, I've seen these work as well. Again, test, test, test. I personally have seen better luck with image ads, but again, each to their own. Each business is different. Each market and audience behaves differently and reacts differently to different types of ads. And that is pretty much it. Leave it for a few days or perhaps a couple of weeks once you've launched. Come back, make some changes, test some new ads, and keep reiterating, and eventually you'll have a platform essentially that really requires very minimal attention, but in the end it will bring your business a good amount of traffic that enters your funnel that again can be converted through other platforms working alongside Pinterest as well. Like I mentioned at the start, if you want to perhaps work one-on-one with me and you own an e-commerce business, drop me a message on Instagram. Link will be down below in the description. If you have any questions on this particular video, please do just drop a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.